Hello to everyone. The guest of the forum today is Enrico Letta, former Italian Premier, fervent Europeanist, now Dean of School of International Affairs at the University of Political Sciences in Paris. Welcome, President Letta. Thank you for being with us.
It's a pleasure.
President Letta, coronavirus emergency pointed out even more the strong contradictions among the Union members. For instance, each country in the health COVID crisis has reacted in a different way, and everyone has made different choices to the outbreak. Economically, Italy highly risks being brought to its knees due to the cost of the health emergency. And the lockdown measures ratings agency Fitch has massively downgraded Italy's credit. It's really a storm. Europe with the Eurogroup has shown some aspect of solidarity and agreed on substantial economic measures, but the strong resistance of northern European countries reveals the disturbing aspect of a kind of an unfinished, unstable political and economical project, an extremely fragile Europe.
You're right, we are in a storm. The storm is a storm related to the economy, first of all, the recession that is there and that is affecting our economies. But for Europe, it is, of course, more problematic than the rest of the world because we come from two crises, the financial crisis between 2008 and 12 and the refugee crisis in 14-15. These two crises affected the European unity and European solidarity. And we have to be aware of the fact that also Europe had Brexit as third crisis of the last 10 years. So Europe and the European Union today is 12 or 15 years ago. There are many problems in terms of trust among countries because of previous crises. And of course, the big problem today is the fact that the present crisis is an unprecedented crisis. It is very difficult to tackle this crisis in this because there's no any possibility to compare this crisis with the previous one. So I think it is today very important to have both national responses and European solidarity working. European solidarity, to be effective, has to be a solidarity linking together in the three main aspects of the crisis: financial, real economy, and social. Last time, the crisis between 8 and 12, the European Union had many problems at the very beginning, exactly because of the decoupling between the three different crises. Today, it is very important to have a response that is comprehensive, taking together the three different aspects. It is very important that the European response can be like that. So the ECB for financial aspects, recovery fund, for the real economy aspects, and other issues like healthcare or social unemployment, with other, like for instance the ESM or like the plan SURE that the European Commission just launched to tackle unemployment. So it is very important to be fast, wide in the response, linking together the three different aspects. It is important also that European can show solidarity in concrete terms. That means that we have to be all aware that the response to be effective has to be united European response. We can't have just national responses. We can't limit the response to the crisis to the European Union assuring financial stability and member states tackling the real economy problems. Because the euro area is today integrated, so we need to have European responses. And we hope that it will be in place, and we hope also European leaders and European institutions can be wise enough to have these responses. Until now, I have to say, the response of the European institutions are more effective than the solidarity shown by member states among them. And that is a first step, but of course it's not enough.
In Italy, to complicate matters even more, also some aggressive domestic political disagreements are making things extremely hard. Sometimes we witness the all against all, even inside the government team. In your opinion, why are they playing this kind of jeu du massacre on a boat in danger?
The Italian people showed an incredible resilience, unity, solidarity in the last 2 months. It is not exactly the same for the political class, I have to say. Political class is showing less resilience, less unity, less solidarity. And I don't know why, because it is exactly today the period in which the political class has to show to be at the level of this challenge. The challenge is very, very hard, and we need to have unity and solidarity. There will be time to have new elections and to have a new fight between majority opposition and to have maybe new leaders or new parties. Not now, this period. Now, with the lockdown, with people dying, with people suffering, with the Italian real economy suffering in terms of unemployment raising, lack of growth, we need to have unity of the country. So I hope the political class will learn from the people. People, the Italian citizens, showed in this crisis, Italians can respect laws. Italians can obey when there's a big mission. And the big mission was to save lives of the weaker part of the population, to create a sort of link of between the generation of the aged part of the population and the younger part of the population. And I think the reaction was a fantastic reaction. It's not the same for the political class. I hope the political class will learn from the people today.
In this pandemic, the United States support to Italy is just a pale presence if compared to the old friendship once very strong. The President Trump's administration since the beginning has been characterized by sovereignism and nationalism, undermining all alliances with Europe. A hardly protectionist policy under the slogan America First that some analysts define strongly divisive and a dangerous fantasy in pandemic times. How do Italy and Europe should behave now?
The worst outcome of this crisis is the explosion of the transatlantic community. The fact that the transatlantic community, and I mean Europe of the 27, I mean UK, I mean the US, we worked and we reacted in a completely non-coordinated way. And we are experiencing this lack of coordination among what was in the past the center of the world, the transatlantic community. I'm very sad about that. And I have to say that one of the big priorities the day after will be the big mission, the work to shape the transatlantic community. We need to have Washington, D.C., London, and the European Union of 27 together to try to reorganize cooperation and to try to be at the center of the stage. Because the world of tomorrow will be a world in which interdependencies, in which turmoils, and which difficulties will be there. Only the possibility to have a strong transatlantic community, united, cooperating, and very cooperative, can be a good answer. So I'm very because of this geopolitical very bad lesson from the crisis. And I think that, and I hope, after the election this year, the European Union, the elections in the US, the European Union, the UK, and the US can start again a new way to organize their solidarity and their cooperation. I think the world needs a strong, effective, united transatlantic direction.
As we said, Italy is facing a lot of obstacles to get consistent economical measures from Europe. Do not forget that now the public debt will increase as never before. The President Trump's disengagement and the tepidity of American solidarity seems to ratify the end of the myth of the American friend. Vice versa, we have seen on TV doctors from Cuba, Chinese cargoes landing in Italy unloading supplies and medical personnel, so like did the Russian ones with the curious motto, "From Russia we love." In short, all the strong balances of the past are turning upside down. Can this pandemic mark the decline of Western multilateral alliances, the beginning of a new geopolitical order in the world?
For Italy, the two main directions of our geopolitical strategy are the European Union and the Transatlantic Alliance. The fact that during this crisis we are experiencing some turbulences on both these directions, on both these strategic directions, is for me a big problem. And I think the geopolitical order after the crisis has to see a European Union and Italy with the European Union with a strong mission to try to reorganize and reshape transatlantic dialogue. At the same time, I know very well that with countries like China, for instance, we need to cooperate with them. But it is clear that priority is Europe and the transatlantic tie. And I think it is very important to understand that this is why we are for priority at the European level and at transatlantic level. Because it is clear that when people in our country saw Chinese flags with sanitary masks or Russian with sanitary furnitures, and on the other side, some ambiguous attitudes from our traditional friends, it is clear that rise of China or Russia in the perception of the people was the immediate consequence. And I think we have to show the people the fact that our friends are still the most important part of our foreign policy. And I repeat, it is the European Union and the transatlantic community. This is a big post-COVID-19 crisis.
To conclude, President Letta, a new era for the world is about to begin?
I think we will enter a new era. We are not there because the transition will be a long one. I don't think that the transition is still there. And this new era is an era of strong interdependence. And we have to reorganize our economy, our institutions, our general way of life, thinking that interdependences are important, are crucial. And we have to work restoring confidence in a new multilateralism because it is impossible to live alone or to think that we can save ourselves alone. We have to take care of problems because it's a way to take care of our problems. And I think it is important to think about this word of new interdependences as the real big challenge for the future. I think it is our big mission, and we have to work exactly in that direction.
Thanks to President Enrico Letta, and thank you all for being with us. See you soon.